festivalcircuit.com and the director of the Oregon Short Film Festival. We're excited about the Oregon Short Film Festival Fall 2022 event coming up at the Clinton Street Theater on October the 14th. And we are excited to have today one of our directors whose film was actually nominated for the Best Ensemble Cast Award, Vanessa Powers. Hello, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Oh, I am excellent. Just excited to talk to you, excited to get this event going. The Oregon Short Film Festival has become our largest event, our flagship event of all the events that we operate. It's definitely the most competitive, and we screen the most films, and it definitely gets the most attention. So Oregon Short Film Festival, exciting times. Glad to be doing this again.
Yeah, it's such an honor to be a part of it, truly.
So, I want to give people an idea of what your film is about, 50 milliliter. And, it's an interesting title, but it doesn't reveal much. So I'm going to have you tell us the synopsis and tell us what's going on here with 50 mil.
Yeah, 50 Mil tells the story of Joe and Olivia. They're a young couple. They're hosting her family for a holiday meal, and there's sort of a lot of dysfunction in a short period of time. And it really tells the story of Joe kind of struggling with his first year of sobriety throughout this stressful family event, and kind of how how things like that happen and how things like that feel.
There's a very personal feel to this whole thing, hence the best ensemble cast. Every actor on screen was great. And you got the idea almost that it was a documentary about a family. It was so well done that people were so natural that it felt like you were documenting a real life or a real story. What inspired you to create this?
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for saying that. That's such a goal for especially in such a short time when you put a family on screen that you want them to feel real. The the inspiration behind this film is actually a true story. So my father is 35 years sober, and throughout my life was always very honest about what he was struggling with and how he felt, and kind of what he would go through. And the full dysfunction of the family isn't quite based on real life, but this particular story of kind of a busy meal, and my mom forgot to go get wine, and my dad did have to go to the liquor store and like pick up the libations for the evening. And he said that it was, he got everything on the list and that was fine, and that he had this moment waiting in line looking at all the little 50 milliliter bottles that they put by the counter, and looking at one and just saying, well, it would just be one, no one would ever know, like in his head. And he actually, because he was many years sober at that point, had the tools and the wherewithal. He just like put everything down and left, and was like, I can't run errands to the liquor store anymore. Like, that's not a safe thing for me. And I just thought it was interesting to think about someone younger who was earlier in their sobriety journey, and what that situation would be for them without those tools and without the experience to sort of know to just walk away. So yeah, it's personal. It's based on this story that my dad told me that just really stuck with me, and I thought would be interesting to explore.
Yeah, that's a powerful personal connection. I appreciate you being transparent about that.
Yeah.
During the production of this, did you learn anything, good or bad? Doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing, but what did you learn during this production?
I always struggle to keep shorts concise. Like, I'm really proud that this is actually just 8 minutes long. I have, the last short I had here was a 21-minute short. I have a lot of shorts that are in the like 12 to 15-minute range. And I wanted to really keep it under 10 and keep it really concise. And I think I learned, or I was really proud of, this sense that less is more, and how much, if you're really intentional, you can tell in a short period of time. I think the other thing we learned was filming with the baby was pretty hard. um, he was such a good sport, and actually when I went to edit, I felt like he had just screamed the entire time he was there, and that we had traumatized this poor child. And actually, he only cried for about 2 takes. But I think, yeah, there was definitely a learning curve with working with this baby. He also is a huge baby. He's in the 98th percentile on size. And so the actress holding him, is this petite little 21-year-old. She's got this like very large. There was just some funny sort of learning curves with working around a baby, and how kind of unpredictable they are. It's like working with not to be insulting, but it's sort of like working with a dog or something where you kind of don't know what they're going to do. So
Sure.
yeah.
Sure. Well, that's what they say. Don't work with babies. Don't work with animals, right?
I know, and I keep doing it. I love throwing in a dog. I love throwing in I just feel
Yeah.
like it's
Yeah.
such. I just wanted the baby to bring that like chaotic texture that babies bring, and he sure did.
That's amazing. What was the casting process like? Did you just open up your phone and call who you knew, or did you actually do a casting call?
Yeah, that's actually the cast. Totally transparently was really built around casting Casey Huckstra as Joe. So
Mm,
Casey is a friend of mine. I've known him since I was in high school, and he's like a professional actor in Chicago now. And he worked on a couple of my really early films, and then we haven't gotten to work together in like a number of years. And he kind of had reached out and was like, "Well, it'd be fun to work together again sometime." And I always take things like that totally seriously. I was like, all right, when have you got space in your calendar? And he said,
mm,
well, I've got this a couple weeks here in January. And I was like, great, let's do it. So it was really built around, because I knew that he could handle that subtlety, that character required, and also just really excited to have an opportunity to work with someone so talented. So he was kind of the first piece. And then I didn't do a casting call for this. It was during a pretty big COVID spike, so I kind of didn't want to introduce a lot of unknown as far as like how are someone's habits and behaviors going to be. So once I had Casey, I kind of was thinking about who in my acting pool would work really believably with him as his wife. And Marissa Muller, I've got to work with on a couple projects, and she's always just so natural and so funny. And I just thought they'd work really well together. And then, the rest of the family was kind of the same. Then finding someone who looked like Marissa's sister. Um, Cynthia Schreiner-Smith, who played the mom, also is just one of the most talented actresses, and like it's so hard to piece this quick, but like she did just some of the most beautiful Midwestern passive aggressive acting. And then the brother and his girlfriend are two people, James Wilsford and Abby Lowenstein, who I just adore, who are both so charismatic and so attractive. And I just thought, you always have to have, like, if you feel like you're the dysfunctional one, like who's the sibling you're always comparing yourself to that you're falling short of. So I
sure.
just yeah, I have a lot of people in my pocket who I've worked with many times, who I know really well what they can do and are just like such a pleasure to work with, that it was like really easy once we had that centerpiece of Joe and Olivia, of Casey and Marissa, to build out from. So it was a call people I know. We didn't do a casting call for it.
No worries. It's always interesting. Actors always, want to know how it's all done. And I've known actors who put out a casting call and they got 1,800 responses. And it's like, how are you going to go through that?
Well, that is
But
part of it. We as a group we do an audition, a big audition, probably once or twice a year, but
mm,
we kind of have in mind what are the things we're casting for moving ahead. And so maybe we have someone who doesn't get cast in whatever we're auditioning for at that time, but we keep in mind like, oh, that person was really interesting. Oh, they'd be great for. So I kind of do, because I want to keep my acting pool growing. I kind of do an audition here or there, but especially in a short film, sometimes, like I said, you just don't want all those like question mark factors of how people are going to behave or how they're going to work together.
sure, sure. Totally understandable. So what do you got planned going for the future? Are you doing a part two of this one, or are you moving on to other projects?
uh we're moving on to other projects. I We actually are about a month from releasing a feature film that we made last year called Sins of the Father. It's a horror, like a horror drama, which we're all really excited to have so close to being done. And then literally this week we just filmed two shorts. One of them actually I didn't write either of them, which is fun and unusual. One of them is called Tap. It's a short horror that my frequent cinematographer collaborator Tristan Corrigan wrote, and then actually the other one is written by Abby Lowenstein, who plays Emily in 50 Mil, the blonde, brother's girlfriend, and it's called Look Back and Laugh. It's another film kind of about sobriety and grief and some other things. And then we are also developing a feature film script called Here We Go, about a group of high school friends who are getting back together for the funeral of one of their teachers. So we're always keeping busy.
All right. Well, it sounds like you're really you really are busy, and keep churning out those films.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like you have a plate full, but you're very talented, and I appreciate you thinking of us when you do release your film. So we
Oh,
appreciate
so
it.
much, so much. Like being part of your festival, like you said, just because it is so big and so competitive and so, I mean, prestigious, and you guys do your social media, so it's such an honor. And then to be nominated for an award is just even more. Like I said, we put a lot of thought into developing Ensemble. I come from a theater directing background, so we do a lot of like character work and things, even on a
Mm.
short like this, talking about how the characters interact and who they are outside of the film. And so that I think that you guys see that, I'm so grateful for. And you definitely have like a loyal fan. I'll always send you guys stuff because I think festivals that see that work are really special. So
Thank you. Well, we evaluate every film from front to back. We really try to see, what's going on with every filmmaker. We're trying not to skip through or just, spot check submissions. You never quite get the true story of what's going on, and so we find these gems. And quite honestly, I think you had probably 11 or 12 different scorecards. They're all double blind. They don't know what they're saying. What each other's comments are, and over and over it was like, there's so many good actors in this film. Sometimes people would pick out one actor, like they like, you know one particular actor, or some people say, oh, there's three good actors on this film, and you just kind of got the idea that, hey, everybody in this film is pretty good. So
yeah, yeah,
when the judges sat down with the notes, that's what they got. So
that's awesome.
we appreciate you, and again, thanks a lot. Is there anything you want to add before we get out of here?
Yeah, just if you're interested in what I'm doing and you want to keep up with me, my website is www.oxford-films.com. We also have, Instagram, Facebook, but all the links for that are through the website. So I always just say, check out the website. We're pretty prolific. We like to learn things with new work, so we're always doing new work. And besides that, like I said, just again, I'm so grateful to be part of such a great festival, and I'm so excited. And I'm glad Diane might make it out there, and I'm hoping to make it out there next event that I get into. I hope.
No worries, no pressure. Well,
So
thanks again, and have a good one.
yeah, have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much.